So the new DJI Pocket 3 is finally out and everybody's excited about it. Everybody's raving about it. The question is it actually as good as it looks? Because this is essentially a vlogging camera. It's tiny in size. I mean, it's so tiny that you could literally spend hours vlogging and most people wouldn't even notice that you're doing it. The image quality is great. The stabilization is fantastic. You have auto tracking when you go in selfie or vlogging mode. And let me tell you something, they've done a really good job in that. So much so that that's the default mode that I use now, because it comes on automatically, and that way you don't have to worry about having the gimbal too low or too high up. You're always in frame, and you can adjust the headroom, which is fantastic because up until now, most gimbals with tracking features, you always have the face in the middle of the frame and you end up with a lot of headroom, whereas now you can adjust it and the gimbal remembers where the camera has to be. That is fantastic. And if you get yourself the Creatives Combo, which is a set of accessories that I really recommend that you get this wide angle lens that in itself is worth the value of the Creatives Combo, and that's gonna give you an even wider field of view. And if you want something wider, you can always stick a selfie stick, but you also get this additional 100-minute battery, which means that you have recording time for over 4 hours in a single sitting. And look, even without any ND filters, because I'm waiting for them to be delivered, I have blurred background, even on the wide angle lens. Which is amazing. So when I put an ND filter in a couple of weeks, and I will do another video about it, the image is gonna look that much smoother. It's not gonna be as choppy as it looks now because the shutter speed is so high up. And if you need even more arguments as to why the Pocket 3 is such an amazing vlogging camera, with the Creatives Combo, DJI gives you this wireless radio mic. And let me tell you one thing, this is amazing because once you pair it to the Pocket 3, just as you did with the Pocket 2, it will link up to it and it will start recording and you don't have to do absolutely nothing. But what is amazing about this is that it's a 32-bit audio signal, which means that you're never gonna clip the audio. It's never gonna be too loud, it's never gonna be too low. You have enough bandwidth there to recover any audio. This is so good. And you can set the Pocket 3 to trigger both the internal recording as well as the camera recording both at the same time. So whatever happens, whether there is interferences or not, you guarantee to have always good audio. If you set up your audio quality at 32-bit, you lose about 4 hours of internal recording, but you still have 11 hours. So when you take into consideration what DJI is throwing at the Pocket 3, the compact size, the amazing image, the stabilization, the tracking, the audio. It's hard to imagine why you would want to be lumping around a heavy camera with microphones and everything else when you get everything built in such a tiny footprint. I mean, DJI has done something really good here. The Pocket 3 is a complete revamp from the DJI Pocket 2. The concept remains the same, but the implementation, the user experience, the menu layout, everything has changed. Everything works as it's supposed to work, and there is a much more logical and easy to operate menu. But when it comes to the most obvious and useful upgrade of the Pocket 3 over the Pocket 2, it has to be the OLED screen, because the 2-inch screen is small enough that it still fits in the Pocket 3 body, but large enough that you can actually see what it is that you're doing and make a judgment. You can go either vertical or horizontal, or you can shoot horizontal and keep the screen vertical if you don't want to have the screen in a horizontal mode. And the screen is actually really nice and bright, so much so that a lot of the times I run my screen at 50%, and you can easily adjust this on the menu settings. And even when I use the Pocket 3 as a sort of an action camera, because the screen is large enough, I can just glance down and I can see that everything is going okay. The opening and close works really nice, really fast, and you just flick it open and you're recording. That's a very nice upgrade. And yes, you can use the Pocket 3 as an action camera.
having that 1-inch sensor is gonna give you incredible looking images that they are actually much better than what you get on the DJI Pocket 2. And not only that, but because you have this 1-inch sensor, there is more light coming in and you actually get shallow depth of field. Even without ND filters, you actually get lens separation. And not only that, but you now have a legit log color space as well as HDR and normal mode. Personally, I'll be doing most of my filming on the D-Log color space, and I recommend everybody to do the same because it's a 10-bit color space. But you can go up to 4K 60 frames per second on D-Log at 10-bit. So that means that any slow motion shots that you want, they're gonna look absolutely incredible. And you can easily increase that in post-production, or you can go into the slow motion mode and go up to 120 frames per second at 4K. It's capped at 8-bit normal color space, but you know, you get in 4K at 120 frames per second, which is unreal in this size. When it comes to gimbal modes, you get the usual ones: tilt lock, pan follow, POV, foot lock, and spin shot, which is a sort of a inception mode. But the beauty of this is that it gives you the option to either hold the gimbal in 90 degrees or horizontal, and it gives a 180 degree automatically. You don't have to do anything. You can adjust the speed of the joystick as to how fast or slow you can operate the gimbal. So that's not different than with the Pocket 2. What is different though is that on the DJI Pocket 2, you needed a little adapter to operate the joystick. And what is now is built into the actual body itself. The issue I have is that I wish there was a much quicker way to change the gimbal modes. When it comes to accessories, the Pocket 3 is a complete redesign of the DJI Pocket 2, so none of the filters or other accessories that you use on the Pocket 2 will work on the Pocket 3. On the plus side, when manufacturers start to release accessories for the Pocket 3, you'll notice that the magnets are a lot stronger and things tend to stay. And another thing that is really nice is this improved case for the Pocket 3, where you can actually attach the filter and it's not going anywhere, so you can safely put it away. And once you put the Pocket 3 in there, it's going nowhere. That to me is a big improvement, and I just can't wait for the filters to start to be released from manufacturers, and I will be reviewing the range from Freewell very soon. Because in my opinion, once you start adding ND filters and you're able to stick to the 180 degree rule, I think this is gonna be a game changer for many people. When it comes to tracking, the Pocket 3 is a big improvement over the Pocket 2 because active tracking works now really smooth. The ability to adjust the tilting and the fact that the gimbal remembers where you're supposed to be and it keeps you there. And not only that, but you also have this feature where you can select an area of the frame that you want to be in focus, and whatever is in that spot, the gimbal will keep it always there, whether it's on the edge of the frame, in the middle, on the side. And it goes without saying that you can pair your Pocket 3 to your smartphone via the Mimo app in case that the screen on the Pocket 3 is not big enough and you want something bigger, especially if you want to do something remotely, or if you want to assess the shot because you cannot afford to get it wrong, or you are in a situation that you can afford to have that additional screen. It's gonna give you that additional functionality that no other camera setup gives you.
What better place to show you the low light and indoor capabilities of this small beast than in the British Museum. We enter in the Egyptian area in the British Museum, but one cool thing is that they have the mummy of Cleopatra. Let's go and check it out. Before I go, I want to show you the Rosetta Stone because this is an amazing historical relic or antique. Look at how many people are here looking at it. And this is what it's like in extreme low light. And as you can clearly see, it does a good job. And obviously, I don't think these cameras were designed to be used in this environment where it's so dark. But I think it does a really good job. And this is a maximum ISO of 1600 with a shutter of 50. And this is now with an ISO of 800. So is this any better than 1600? Any worse? Can you see any more noise in the darks? And this is now the low light mode. And with it, you can only shoot in normal color space, no D-Log, and no active tracking either. It's just the gimbal and my hand holding it. So does this look any better than when I was filming at 800 or 1600 ISO? Please let me know in the comments below which one you like better, because you might have your own opinion and maybe you see something that I don't see.
And if all of this wasn't enough, the Pocket 3 still has a few aces up its sleeve. For instance, you go anti-flickering. You can set it manually or on auto. I personally think that you should just leave it on auto. You also now have time code, which is great if you need to do any filming with several cameras. You can set it to time of day, and that way the syncing is done much simpler. And another thing that I really like is that because you have a much larger screen now, you can preview your shots a lot easier, and you can just put a heart on whichever one that you like and then delete the ones that you don't like. So are there any negatives? Because I always say that the perfect piece of equipment doesn't exist, and this one isn't either. What I have found is that when I am operating the camera and I want to go through the different menus very quickly, sometimes it's a little bit sluggish and I have to do the motion a few times, or I have to stop and then do it slowly. I imagine that this is something that they can quickly fix with a firmware upgrade, and hopefully they will. Another thing is that the sensor seems to have a tendency to overexpose a little. So if you're filming auto, I would recommend that you set your EV to -1 or even -1.3. That's something that you need to experiment and see which one works for you. But if you leave it on 0, I think the highlights are a little bit too hot. So I have a tendency to underexpose my footage, and I recommend that you do that. And this third one is a bit of a nagging wish rather than an actual issue with the Pocket 3. It's just that I wish you could access a full screen mode with nothing on the display. Any other displays go away and you just get the screen. Sometimes you want to just focus on the screen rather than having any of these little displays on the edge of the frames that are very helpful and very useful, but sometimes you just want them out. If you love the Pocket 2, you're gonna fall in love with the Pocket 3. The image quality improvement is amazing. The user experience, the screen, everything has been improved for the better. The ability to have a 2-inch screen or your smartphone, if you want something larger, that's gonna give you so much flexibility. The integration between the camera and the Mimo app is flawless. There are so many good things about the Pocket 3. I am so pleased that DJI has not messed this one up and it's come up with an amazing camera. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to make any specific videos about the DJI Pocket 3, because I'll be making a series of videos over the coming weeks on this particular camera because I think it's amazing. And I'll see you in the next one.